See, here's the thing. 2 days ago, had something happen to me that I haven't had happen in a long time. Something my kids have never seen. And it started with one of my great friends, young 17-year-old African-American boy, came over to read me something he wrote because he had been up all night. Keyshawn, man, I'm talking about you. We call him Key Bolo. Great kid. He wants to be a firefighter. You know, he's part of the San Diego firefighter cadet program. He's making strides. He's doing what he has to do, right? But he doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of support to do it. And Key Bolo doesn't look so different than George Floyd. And he came over and he showed me what he wrote, and he wrote about how he was scared to go to work. Scared to walk outside his house. Scared for his future. He wants to become a firefighter. He doesn't want to end up dead under the hands of a police officer. We had this talk in front of my 6 and 9-year-old kid. Well, the kids that I married into, right? Basically my own. And they had a lot of questions. And so, you know, I've always believed in transparency and honesty and getting to, because I get to have that conversation with them. And so after a while, Keyshawn leaves, and you know, it was a heartfelt and tough conversation. And the family and I go on a bike ride, and there was protests. Not a whole bunch of people, just a few on the corner of Texas and University. And so we stop, and I explain to the kids, hey, this is what we're talking about. You know, people are out in the streets, they're mad. This is how they're showing, you know, that they're upset of what's going on, that it's not okay. And so they're chanting, you know, several different chants, but one of them was, no justice, no peace. And so we keep riding after we'd stopped a while, and we keep riding. And, you know, the protesters, you know, waved at us, and they cheered and clapped, and I think it made the kids happy. And I was like, hey, you're a part of history. You know, even though you don't know it, you're standing up for equality. And, you know, as we were riding the bike, we hadn't made it about a block and a half. And little 6-year-old dude's right behind me on the bike, and he's just chanting, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace in it. And then it all hit me, and I broke down. I couldn't ride anymore. I started crying. And it had been so long since I cried that I didn't even know I was crying. I didn't know what was happening. And so I stopped my bike, and it was everything I could do just to stay looking down at the ground and cry, you know, and let me feel these emotions. And the kids didn't understand what was going on. Of course, they thought they were in trouble. I'm like, it's not you. And little man Caleb was just like, you know, it's because of what I said. And I said, no, it's not. It's not what you said. I said, it's the reason why you're even able to say it. I said, you're only 6. You're only 6 talking about no justice, no peace. And you don't even know what you're saying, but that's okay, because I hope that it's in your heart. No justice, no peace. And then I thought about the fact that how privileged we all are here in the U.S. because our 6-year-olds don't have guns and AKs, and our 9-year-old girls aren't as worried as many of them are around the rest of the world. You know, and I recognize we're lucky here. I recognize how lucky I am and how lucky my kids are, how lucky Keyshawn is, but at the same time, you know, we failed as the generations ahead of them. That's what I look at. We failed as the generations ahead of them. And the thing that I realize is that our definitions are all screwed up. What's it mean to be a neighbor? You know, what's it mean to be a friend? What's it mean to be a significant other, a partner? What's it mean to be a San Diegan? You know, and what is a San Diegan anyways? We're just a human being that happens to live in this part of the world, right? Am I really a San Diegan or a Californian? Am I really somebody from the U.S.? Right? Is that how I'm going to have to identify myself? Because I think it's the language that we use and the definitions that we continue to use that are propagating the problem. Right? It's just we, period. human, period. I'm alive, period. I'm on this planet, period. Black, white. Look, man, being mixed, half black, half white, and adopted, my ass has been confused my whole life. I don't fit in anywhere. I'm not black enough to be black, and definitely ain't white enough to be white, right? I look Mexican, and I ain't no part of me is Mexican or Hispanic, right? My family, I was taken from my family, or given away, rather, should I say. No, I'm not mad at my mom for it. You know, I could have been a child of prostitution. I have no idea, because I know that's what she was into. Right? She was 17 years old or something like that when she had me. But does that define me? Right? I've had to deal with definitions my whole life. What's family mean? I've had to define that for myself. I've had to define what happiness means. And so my daughter was super confused. She said, Carlos, he don't ever cry. He smiles. He stays smiling McCray. I've never seen him cry. He's just always happy. I can't believe he has another emotion. And I said, no, Chloe, I cry now, not for myself, but because of all the people and the pain that's happening right now. I cry because we have failed you, us future generations. I cry because of the pain, and I cry for George. I don't cry for myself. I got it good. My life is good. I'm alive, damn it. And I'm able to be on this bike ride. I'm lucky. Not a lot of people do that. I got a job. Not a lot of people got jobs right now. I ain't crying for myself. I said I'm crying for other people. And I cry because now we're putting this burden on you. Because that's what we're doing. We're putting the burden on the young people. We're putting the burden on the Keishans and the Calebs and the Chloes in the world. We're putting the burden on all the kids whose parents are in prison. So change your definitions. Right? We could be sad so that we could be happy. For you can't have happiness without sadness. You cannot have joy without sadness. You can't smile without having shed a tear, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't know you were smiling. So change your definitions. What does justice mean to you? What does that mean? Watch what you say. Hold yourself accountable. Be the greatest person that you want to be. Be that person today, because it's already within you. You could do it. You just got to stop giving yourself these permissions to not. Look, it's a lot of responsibility, but it's ours to bear. We're the one that created this whole situation. All of us. And I'm happy to see a whole bunch of white people, young white people out here in the streets in North Park protesting. I was out there yesterday with them, right? From downtown, Hillcrest to North Park and back. I appreciate it. But at the same time, I'm like, they didn't ask for this, but they're stepping up to the plate. At the same time, I'm like, man, black people have been talking about this for years. And now that white people are finally on board, now maybe it'll happen. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because at least it's happening. You know, at the end of the day, we got to put all the shoulds behind us. And the supposed tos. Quit shoulding on me, and quit shoulding on yourself, and quit shoulding on the rest of the world. Yeah, we're not supposed to have to protest to make this happen. We're not supposed to have to rely on a bunch of white people to join the cause. Whatever, we do. That's the reality of it. So accept it. Work with it. I was dealt a hand of cards in life, and then somebody else shuffled them damn things back into the deck and then gave me a new hand. My best thing that ever happened to me was being adopted, because it made me realize shit happens. And it's up to us to make the reason for that happening. George Floyd died in a tragic, the most tragic way I've seen. The difference between this video is the 9 minutes of grueling nothingness happening, really, and he passed away. It wasn't no kind of look like cheap Hollywood film like a lot of these other murder videos. And it forced us to see the humanity in what's going on. So redefine your life. Redefine love. Is your love selfish? Roll with it if it is. Own it. But yet be open to when somebody challenges your definitions. Be open to that. Quit being so damn defensive. I would love to have a conversation with the man who killed George Floyd. I would love to get to know his why. What happened, man? Why'd you want to become a police officer? Why'd you want to protect and serve? What happened? How'd you get to this place? Are you even aware of what you did? What's going on with you? And how is this going to change your life? How are you going to use this moment to change the world? You know, the other thing that's been on my mind, Obama wrote an amazing piece about what's going on and how we could make change. And he talked about it through politics. He said we got to change local leadership and local government. We got to elect out the people that we don't like and elect in the people that we do like. Well, you know, quite frankly, I'm only 37, about to be 38. I've only had so many chances to vote. But I don't necessarily enjoy all the options that I have. And so I asked Obama, yeah, okay, I feel you, bro. Yeah, you're right. But look, man, I know a whole bunch of people in Skyline that are smart as hell. In Lincoln, that are smart as hell. But they ain't into politics because politics doesn't have any relevance in their life. I know for me, in my education, politics, what's that got to do with me going out and playing and chasing some, you know what I'm saying, my friends around, playing sports? I didn't understand it then. I didn't have anybody to make it relevant. It meant nothing to me. I got to college. My political science teacher looked like Sam from the game Guess Who? You know what I'm saying? Old white dude with just beyond white hair, almost transparent. Looked like he had a board nailed to his spine so he couldn't turn right. It's the most boring class I ever had in my life. Hey, but right now, I wish I would have paid attention. But it's too late. I don't know enough about politics. One thing I do know is that your suggestion that we change our leadership, well, that takes some time. That takes some years in the making. So I challenge you, Obama, and anybody else who got some money, because it's going to take money, and some know-how. For all you people who are connected, why don't you make something for young people, even people my age, of color, who want to represent in politics, who want to learn, who want to make a difference, but they don't want to go in there with zero experience. Look, I'm not even getting started on the president. So I'm just saying, like, can we get a training ground? You know, sports leagues, they got soccer, they got training camps for kids that are 6. And they put them through training camp until they hit the pros, man. So what? So they could go out and make somebody a whole bunch of money. Well, why can't we do that in politics? Except so instead of going out and making a few people a whole bunch of money, we could get some people like me and George Floyd and everybody else an opportunity to go out and become political, right? Because we don't want to go in there not knowing enough. Because look at what happens. So anyways, I challenge you, change your definitions. Take a hard look within. Figure it out. And along the way, you're going to have to redefine yourself. Because that's the stay smiling way. Right? What other way is there? It's our responsibility, us adults, Like Maya Angelou said, pick up the battle. Let's go to work.